When a great white smells blood in the water, they very rarely let their prey escape. The American Hikaru Nakamura is certainly a daddy shark in that regard, and he converted on a very nicely played white side of a Caro-Kann defense against Russian Grandmaster Alexander Ryazantsev in round 6 at the FIDE Chess.com Grand Swiss, and here's how he got it done. In this particular position, you can already spy with your little eye the potential for tactics. Obviously, knight b6 is something you'd love to play, but the bishop guards it. There's even more, though, to the potential mating attack here than just some tricks and forks on b6. Hikaru shows that with the great move bishop f4. This move, grabbing this diagonal, pointing out that the square formerly available to the black king on a8 is no longer there, and immediately opens the doors for rook lifts and puzzle rush tactics popping out of the brain, with things like either one of these moves coming, followed by a queen takes a7 and a rook swinging over for a checkmate attack. Now, black went pawn grabbing on h5, and at first glance, you see this move, and optically it doesn't please, because why would you go after a pawn on the king side when you're about to see a huge attack come at your king? Though, full disclosure, it's hard to really suggest improving moves for black. It's possible if you want to go full defense, things like knight d7, followed by the idea of f6 and e5 would make you happy, but those moves take away squares for the queen and allow things like knight to d6. I had a hard time making other suggestions. I ended up analyzing the move knight takes h5, because at least this move gains a tempo on the bishop if you're going to grab the pawn. But after bishop d6 with tempo, followed by the move rook d3, we're right back in a spot with queen takes a7 being threatened and checkmate to follow. Likely black is losing material, if not much more. So I'm not going to criticize Ryazantsev for this, but instead just bow down and say we're not worthy at the feet of Hikaru Nakamura as he converts very, very nicely. Here Hikaru played rook e3, which I think is actually a good sign that the Grandmaster might be finding his form. A lot of fans of Hikaru online obviously looking for him to continue to right the ship in his over-the-board chess play. It sounds silly, but rook d3 is also, of course, winning, but a little bit less accurate due to the desperate shot that black could find with the move e5. And I think Hikaru calculated this, because now when you captured, the queen comes to f5, and you'd love to take on a7 and drag the rook to a3, but those darn Chess.com bugs don't let you make illegal moves. Because of that, you'd love to play king a1, but you don't have time for that with the rook hanging, which means if you already have to make some sort of defensive move, white is still better, but not nearly as dangerous of an attack as it could have been. So just the fact that Hikaru plays rook e3, super accurate, things like e5 now would just be a check, and after you move the king, you're right back to dealing with the same threats, and you can't really stop my attack. So just a nice, accurate conversion here by Hikaru. a6 is played, but it doesn't stop knight d6, and now if you want to pause the video and see how Hikaru put this one away, you can do so. Knight takes b7, maybe rook b3 was also pretty good, but why not blow things open in the most forcing fashion, because with the threat of queen takes a6, and the fact that we just unleashed the bishop on the queen, the rest of the game is very, very forcing. Queen takes b7, rook b3, black goes down the lady, but really the problems continue after that, because after king c8, queen b8, Ryazantsev resigns due to some obvious lines that might occur, let's say king d7 and queen d6. You can either go back and let me continue to take and shake and bake on f8, or you can try to run, but ultimately things like this will also lose material in this type of fashion. So great stuff here by Hikaru Nakamura, converting on a very, very nicely played opening stage. I highlighted some of those moments earlier in my blog over at Chess.com, just that when he played the move c5, you could sense that he had a good feeling for how this game was going to turn out. So hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you check out the live broadcast with Anna Rudolph and Danny King, and we'll see you around on Chess.com.